Welcome to this webinar hosted by SA United Employers Organization in collaboration with Stone Consulting. Additional information with regards to the various topics may be posted in the chat box to the right of the video presentation. You may also ask questions during the presentation by making use of the same chat box. There will also be a formal Q&A at the end of the presentation. Both the webinar recording and presentation will be available at the end of the webinar. I now hand you over to Willem Eksteen from Stone Consulting.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Willem Eksteen. I'm the Chief Executive of Stone. We are a strategy and communication consulting firm, adding value to clients by mobilizing integrated engagement as a critical business tool. We know that everything has changed. COVID came and is busy resetting the earth. Nothing is normal anymore. The way that we used to do things is but a memory. We need to adapt, we need to make a new plan, and we need to find new ways of doing things. It's not normal that I sit here in my study and speak with you. Even our faces have changed. But let's have a look. What does the world look like at the moment? Apart from the beautiful serenity of the mother city, it does feel a little bit eerie where everything is so abandoned. Because life in the big city will be different. It will never be the same again. Business will be different, and our lives have changed.
A slight pickup in activity today with more than 1.5 million people returning to work as the lockdown restrictions ease, but the livelihoods of millions of others who don't qualify to work under COVID-19 lockdown restrictions hangs in the balance. Well, ENCA's Devin Murugan looks at what the restrictions mean for the country's economic future.
A 5-week lockdown, the highway begins to breathe again. Only a fraction of the traffic carrying either essential workers or those individuals in industries permitted to reopen. But this is an economy that requires extensive human movement to significantly reactivate, something that COVID-19 prevention measures won't allow for immediately. Treasury says the impact on economic contraction can be anything between 5 to 12% for 2020, much higher if restrictions remain in place for longer.
These numbers are staggering, and also the world of business has changed. Now more than ever, engagement is critical, connecting with people, making sure that you are okay. We must plan for the worst. These are the words of our president. As he says, we can mitigate the risk up ahead.
We've got to plan for the worst, and we are informed that the worst is still coming. We are going to get more people infected, but the important thing is that we need to ensure that we lessen the pace through which these infections are going to take place.
We need a new big picture thinking. While the world is resetting, in order to weather the storm, let's reframe your business strategy and engage with your stakeholders, all of your stakeholders, to add value to them. The reality is, we cannot assume that it will be business as usual once we reach COVID-19 lockdown, phase 1 and after. It will be different. Are you still in denial or resisting this change? It's important that we explore the opportunities of how we can harness this new and actually end up in a better place than where we started before COVID-19. But we need to understand the globalization that is happening and the global trade disruption. We're not unique in this. The whole world is slowing down. Globalization is a nice term that PwC coined, and I like using that because everything is slower. It's important that we gain insight into the COVID-19 impact on our industries. You must understand where you fit into your client's value chain and make the most of it. Equally, we need to understand our value chains and the COVID-19 impact on that value chain in order to sustain not only our business future, but also that of our suppliers and our partners. The world after COVID-19 is not going to be an easier place. There is massive innovation afoot. Everything is becoming digital. Interaction is digital. Travel will be less. There will be new distribution channels. And also, we have a myriad of new receiving devices in order to play in this digital space. There is also more choice. You can get anything you want at the time you want it, at the place where it's needed. The user is now in control, and you can even co-create and craft the product or the service that you actually desire. There will also be new competition and more competition. As people are reinventing themselves and innovating their businesses, there is a greater race to attract audiences. Lifestyles will change. Life patterns, listening, reading, viewing habits have already changed. This week, we saw the closure of a media house and another media house announcing that all of their print magazines will be closed down. This is sad, but it just means that new platforms are found, and not even the sky's the limit. Online and in contact 24/7 everywhere will be the norm. But facing this storm, it's important that we've got a strong offense as our best supply chain defense going forward. For your business, you need to develop an incident management and scenario plan that is specific to this crisis at hand. The normal crisis plan, the cut and paste way, the template that you used, it won't cut it. going into the future. But very importantly, focus on effectively engaging with all of your stakeholders. Plan on how you'll meet your regulatory priorities and obligations for your business, because this also allows you to minimize the unknown impact that might still lie ahead. There will be more business disruptions. It's already messy. And we need to plan for it getting messier. That is why we need to harness this beyond survival. We need to add value. By realigning overheads and improving productivity, we can work smarter, we can work in new ways. Explore how we can find new revenue streams and reinvent our sales operations and our business cycles. The old way of doing things will not apply. It's important that we embrace digital transformation and avoid disruption of our businesses. Only yesterday, while in a meeting with my clients at Accenture, it was mentioned that COVID-19 is actually the most important digital accelerator in the current business space. It's important that we adopt a new way of working and manage our businesses in this new way. But financial survival and financial stability is paramount. So we need to manage our capital efficiency of our businesses very well. And again, you need to take all of your stakeholders on this journey with you. And that is why an integrated engagement model as a business tool is important. It's not about creating noise in a noisy world. It is about connecting with all of your stakeholders. And from there, add value beyond where you started before COVID-19. What this means is we need to build an ecosystem of value. COVID has highlighted the importance of grace towards one another. Grace to your suppliers, grace to your clients, but also as an individual, to recognize the plight of others that are facing the same enemy of COVID-19 as you. But the companies that will thrive post-COVID-19 will be the ones with soul. The ones that will thrive will be the ones that add more value than what they take in payment. But this isn't something that I dreamt up on my own. Shortly after I started Stone in 2008, I read The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann. It's a small book. You probably read it in an evening, but it contains phenomenal truths and principles that apply now even more than before. The first principle is the principle of value. This principle says that your worth is determined in how much more you give in value than you take in payment. In other words, let value drive your business. Don't let your earnings drive your business. Seek to add value to your customers, to your partners, and to your total ecosystem of value. That will set you apart in a noisy world. It's also fair to be compensated for the value that you bring to others. But your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. And that is where value, going beyond the price tag, becomes so important. When planning, don't see it as a costing exercise. See it as an investment plan. And make sure that you enjoy the business influence that your business deserves. Because your influence is determined by how abundantly you place the interest of others above your own. That is really seeking the benefit of those around you, the benefit of your customer, the benefit of your client, but also the benefit of your business partners and the benefit of your suppliers, so that the whole supply chain and the whole ecosystem can sustain itself and thrive beyond COVID-19, but in an authentic way. The best gift that you can give somebody is to give yourself, and to give of your time, your skill, and your talent. And through giving of yourself, you'll actually receive quite a lot, because the principle of receptivity allows us to open up for receiving by giving the gift of giving to those around us. It's important to recognize that we're all in this together. It's a phrase that has been bantered about quite freely. We are all in this, but we're not all in this together. There are people who do not know where their next meal will come from. There are people who do not know whether they'll have a safe place to stay tonight. This isn't unique to COVID, but it's intensified by COVID-19. Organizations like Mold, Empower and Serve feed hundreds of people every day, provide shelter to hundreds of people every day that are destitute and that really fear for their futures because of the fallout of COVID-19. We need to set the correct puzzle pieces in place. We need to make sure that the picture of the world that we build going forward is a beautiful one. And the narrative that we use needs to speak of positivity, and it needs to speak of harnessing a bright future. That is why the art of communication is really the language of leadership. I agree with James Humes when he actually said this. But this, again, is not just creating noise. It's making sure that you communicate with a purpose. At Stone, we've got a methodology called Pebble Ring Thinking. Pebble Ring Thinking is the methodology which we use to build business strategies, engagement plans, shape marketing and media for our clients, and even give counsel on advertising strategies. And like when you drop a pebble in a pond and the concentric circles all emanate from that one pebble, the business goals of our clients remain at the center. Around the business goals, we can build an integrated strategy. And from there, we do integrated strategy development, where our implementation plans and rollout and awareness, leadership positioning, and share of voice all stems from. And while living all of these good plans, it's really important that we measure our success against agreed milestones. Because if you veer off mark by 5%, in the beginning it might seem very little, but you could end up in a totally different place than where you wanted to be. Businesses driving their actions through their business goals and the reason for being set themselves apart. Simon Sinek always talks about the golden circles, where the why, the reason for a business, remains at the center. Companies like Apple don't explain to you that they sell computers. Have you ever heard Apple saying they're a computer company? They add value to your life. They believe in bringing value in a beautiful way through beautiful designed products. We need to think slightly differently as we embark on the post-COVID-19 journey. At Stone, we've got a very robust methodology as we shape strategies. And I would like to share a little bit of this with you. Firstly, there's an analysis phase. In the analysis phase, it's important to truly understand the context. And now it's very important to understand the new business context. We need to do SWOT analysis of our businesses, do a proper PLEST analysis of what is the business context around you, do SWOT mapping of how does the various pieces of your SWOT analysis impact one another, and then also Do appreciative inquiry. Don't only navel gaze on negative things. Make sure that you understand what worked for you, how to harness this, how to polish it off, and how to reinvent it for a better future. From there, we plan our strategies and implementation plans. Careful planning allows you to relax while implementing, knowing that you've taken care of all of the things that your business needs. But careful planning also helps for you to readjust and realign as parameters change. Or, if your plan was not the right plan, to realign and make sure that you get a better plan as you roll your plans out. The life cycle phase is where the action happens. This is where the tire hits the tarmac. And as we actually implement and roll out and live the new, we need to make sure that we implement with attention to detail. And this is where living your new business future is actually happening. Make sure that you stick to your plans, that you keep your business goals at the center, and don't embark on activity that does not add business value. Business value for yourself, for your business, but also activity that does not support your ecosystem of value. And throughout all of this, there is control and measurement. Ensures that you will succeed in this new uncharted waters. As we engage with all of our stakeholders, it's important to establish a common understanding of what your value proposition is. You need to be clear on what you are and what you're not. Build value to unlock value together. Educate your stakeholders of the value that you can bring to their business through engaging, through making sure that they understand where your vulnerabilities are, where your limitations are, but also where they can rely on your strengths. I've got clients that has been with me since day one of Stone in August of 2008. Earlier this week, in fact, I consulted to one of those clients, helping them with an issue that cropped up because of COVID-19. It's also important that we pursue common issues with a clear plan, articulate them clearly, plan properly, and then pursue them according to the plan. And let a responsible conversation with all of your stakeholders start now. Align the views and the voice of your business. Let the people within your business get what you're all about, and allow them to represent your business and your new business future. But before we can do these engagements, it's important that we understand who we are engaging with. When we do media training, Frederick Robinson and I very often speak of the different tribes of people. Throughout the course of the day, the BBC found that each person is part of a different tribe, depending on where they sit in their day. In that way, a college professor becomes a couch potato when he watches his soapy at night. So be cognizant of who your audience is and where they find them when you engage with them. The three-tier audience model that we adopt at Stone is important when rolling out these things. First of all, the growth audience is your primary sales audience. This is where external communication and engagement will connect with your customers, your clients, and the consumers of your service, the way in which you will grow your business. But a second and very important audience is the influencer audience. The influencers gives you the context in which you do business. They give you the license to do business. They help build your reputation, either as a positive one or as an unreliable provider. it's important to manage the way in which the influencers behold you. Yes, it's true. Very often they will never be your customer or client, but they will determine how your growth audience will see you. That is why it's important to take care of the regulators, the analysts, and very importantly, the media. But take everybody on your journey. Very often, companies forget a very important audience, the effectiveness audience. Don't let your own people learn about serious and impactful business steps you are taking through a media release or a newscast. Make sure that you take your own people on the business journey with you, because in all probability, they might be able to add value. They will be able to share with you the impact that they feel. And very often they are close to your customers. So you harness your own people to be more effective as a business through engaging with them, taking them into your trust, and making sure that the people on the inside of your fence actually get where you are going. Those include your leadership, your employees, but also your key suppliers and partners, because in this way, they will be able to sustain and support your ecosystem of value. As I said earlier, it's very clear that we need to know why we're doing what we're doing, because in this way, we can put the business goals at the true center of our business and in the way in which we engage. It's important to take note of what others say about you. Either you need to mitigate some of those opinions. Clarity is very important. At the moment where we sit, none of us have a crystal ball that can foretell the future. We need to see clarity on what you do, what you are not, and in your engagement, share this clarity with your stakeholders so that they can truly understand what it is that you bring, how they can benefit from it, and how you can journey together. Engage with continuity. It's very important that we keep the same narrative about what we are, how we provide value, and how we can actually bring greater sustainability for everybody in our ecosystem of value. Unpack the how of your business. The how has changed completely. How we did business 3 months ago will never be the way in which we do business again. Just imagine, business travel will be cut. There's impact, massive impact on industries like aviation and tourism, because people are now effectively meeting without traveling distances. Everything has become digitized. COVID-19, as the primary digital accelerator, has changed our world. Not only taking bricks and mortar and turning it into a spreadsheet and saying, whoopee-doo, I'm digitized. It's finding totally new, innovative ways to do business and to engage in order to make sure that you are not disrupted and that you don't fall by the wayside because you did not compete according to the rules of the new game. But in all interaction with people, let your values guide you. Values are becoming more and more important. And the values that will guide your business will be a critical building block upon which you'll build your business reputation going forward. Companies with soul will thrive. At Stone, we have a methodology where we map certain unchanging principles against our clients' values to articulate their desired business reputation. It's important to always engage with authenticity. You can't tell lies and expect to build a good reputation. Have continuity in what you say. Allow your stakeholders to understand your purpose and always over-deliver and under-promise. On this slide, on the right-hand side, we've got integrity, transparency, empowerment, excellence, being goal-driven, professionalism. These are example values that one can use against the unchangeables in order to build your reputation and to articulate what it is that you're all about, and also to enable you to do good business well through adding value. You need to decide what your values are. You need to decide what drives you. And values can no longer be pretty words in golden frames on stair risers as you walk into plush offices. People won't see them because a large component of your target audience will be on the other side of the screen. Integrating your engagement is going to be very, very important as we go along. Integrated engagement means keeping the same narrative across platforms and across audiences. And this is a powerful business tool. It's again not marketing speak, it's not PR blurb. It is a business tool that you can harness for business success. That is why you need to position the long-term value of your business well. Position your business as the premier catalyst of innovative and sustainable growth in the space that you play in. Promote and leverage your business capabilities, strategic value, and social contribution. Without patting yourself on the back, but be proud of the contribution you make beyond your bottom line. And enhance your leadership profile and team unity as a trustworthy business team that is unified in its business goals. There's a myriad of things that we need to do and take care of in our integrated engagement, but it all starts with strategy. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's why your engagement strategy needs to be an integrated strategy with proper communication plans. You have to build your reputation by being deliberate, build an influencer network, and have influential opinion on things around you that matter. Leverage that opinion and map the tools and tactics that will deliver sales and strengthen your relationships in the business space. From there, you can then engage proactively with media, with your other stakeholders, and with everybody in the investment value chain of your business. But make sure that you align your own people to the same message that you give out to the external audiences. Have all the right tools in place. Look after your brand. It's not just a picture. It stands for who you are and why you do what you do. Leverage the new digital channels. No longer is it just a LinkedIn blurb or a website. It's everything. It's everything digital. From looking after the identity that you portray in your Zoom call, all the way to your post-event engagement, making sure that your customer and client really got what you wanted them to take out of a session with you. Make sure that you've got the tools on opinion, positioning papers, rolling Q&A, fact sheets. Build your digital reputation as well. Don't neglect it. It's not just about Google Analytics. It's about quality engagement on a new platform. Even when you adopt various CRM tools are not just spam emails. It's building a customer relationship. Take care of what it is that your customer or client values. Make sure to meet their needs and build a customer or client-centric business in your ecosystem of value. But measure all along. I know that I sound like the measuring police, But unless you measure where you're going, you can take any route and it'll get you there. This is something that Alice in Wonderland taught us. It's really important to know where you're heading. COVID-19 is a crisis of phenomenal proportions, and we need to manage it as such. There are astute policies that you need to have in place, but again, not a cut and paste template. It's very important that you align your management team and that they drive this crisis management and that they drive the way in which you act, react, reimagine, and innovate your business going forward. In addition to proactive reputation building, guard against reputation risks. It so easily can happen that you just stumble because of one thing that you did not have in your sights. And unfortunately, the digital world of record is unforgiving. These days, everything remains in the ether, in the cyber memory of space forever. So that's why you need to develop a matrix of trained spokespeople that can truly articulate the value of your business. Develop a deliberate reputation management program. Develop a crisis communication manual and enforce a policy that's applicable to the now. Don't have silly things in there and policies in there that apply to the world pre-COVID-19. Take cognizance of the new world. This is going to mean slogging it out and do some hard work now, but that will ensure your sustainability beyond the crisis. And be honest. If there are pieces where you are vulnerable, share this with your engagement target audiences. Let them know that you are honest. If you mess up, own up. Make sure that you engage authentically. And engage with your target audience proactively. Take them on your journey. Make sure that they can fully understand where they can rely upon you to walk with them on their journey going forward. Use the new digital tools effectively and mitigate the fallout from this crisis. But very importantly, keep on adding value beyond your own bottom line. Not only to those things where you will get payment because of the value that you add, because you are your brand ambassador. Represent your brand well. Allow your people to build your brand by living, communicating, and delivering the brand. Have trust in the people that you surround yourself with. Engage consistently and coherently so that people can understand where you are, understand where you're going, and understand that you are on this journey together. Ensure that your brand is respected and valued and guarded jealously. Build the value beyond your own bottom line to those who will never be able to repay you. So in summary, it's true, the world will never be the same again. But have a strong crisis and contingency plan in place on how to deal with it now and what it will hold in order to get you to an even more prosperous place to where you've been before COVID-19. Understand your new business context because it won't be the same. Innovate, embrace, and reimagine your business by building ecosystems of value. Take all of your stakeholders on your journey through value, respect, and support. It's a two-way journey. It's no longer the client knows everything. It is a case of learning as we go along. Somebody that I know well often says that we're building the plane as we fly it. This is very much the case with COVID-19. But it is possible to thrive by adding more value than what we take payment. Thank you so much for giving me a piece of your day so that I could share my insights. Again, I can only share as much as I have insight. It is a journey that we need to take together. Thank you very much. I would love to hear from you now on anything that I might be able to clarify or that we can discuss further. But after this, please feel free to also browse the rest of your deck, because we've included a little bit more information on Stone and how we can journey with you going forward. Thank you so much.
If you have any other questions, we will now give some time for you to ask them. Questions not answered in the Q&A will be recorded, collated, and answered in due course. You will receive an email with the answers to your questions not answered in the presentation.
In South Africa, the gap between the wealthy haves and the poor have-nots is worryingly growing wider and wider. People struggling to make ends meet generally move to cities, especially to the inner city, to find employment. But they often find themselves stranded, alone and helpless. This continued migration of desperation is keenly felt on the African continent. Established systems providing housing, employment, education, healthcare and psychosocial support have long since become unable to deal with this influx of unemployed, often unemployable job seekers. MES is an established Christian integrated social development organization that molds the character of marginalized urban communities through a range of empowering programs. We serve the survival and basic developmental needs of no to very low income city dwellers, hence MES being an acronym for Mold, Empower, Serve. By the grace of God, MES has been changing the heart of our cities for more than 30 years. Founded in 1986 effectively as a church-based soup kitchen outreach program in the exciting yet challenging area of Hillbrow in Johannesburg, the range of programs, clients and branches have since grown to now include various South African cities. MES operates in Johannesburg, Cape Town, Kempton Park, Soweto and Port Elizabeth, where we assist vulnerable or at-risk individuals, families and communities, empowering them to become independent and sustainable members of society. The challenges faced by marginalized people in the cities differ according to their particular age groups. There is a growing need for enough, competent, nurturing early childhood development. MES addresses some of these needs through our city creches that have built up a much valued school readiness success rate and parental welfare support system. Once children are of school-going age, they often experience a lack of nutrition, shortage of homework support, and insufficient positive spiritual and social development. MES then offers after-school programs and children's holiday camps, clubs and mentorship to address these needs. Given South Africa's terrible secondary school pass rates, the majority of 18-year-olds drop out or leave school without usable qualifications. For this group, MES offers skills training courses through our accredited training centre, as well as a young adult service leadership gap year called the Joshua program. The fourth age group MES serves is the over 35-year-olds or the adults. Our adult clients have real survivalist needs, which we serve through our canteens, homeless shelters and Grow Employment Rehabilitation program. This therapy-based job simulation program assists people who have given up looking for employment to rediscover their worth and identity. By customizing our interventions for each of these four age groups, MES molds the young lives of the preschoolers, empowers the learners and youth, and serves the homeless and unemployed adults. Supplementary to these age-specific developmental and survivalist interventions, MES also offers to all our clients a range of social support services, which includes statutory social work services, healthcare community outreaches, spiritual pastoral support, nutrition, and individual development planning. To address our clients' needs optimally and in an integrated way, each client is first assessed by our social work team. The most urgent basic survival needs are then addressed where possible, such as food, overnight shelter, disaster management, clothing and blankets, and medical intervention if necessary. Our programs offer an holistic approach through different phases of prevention, intake, intervention, and where and when appropriate and possible, exit onto the next life stage or onto eventual employment with more secure accommodation. MES understands that it is a privilege to serve those in greatest need of help and has been doing so for over 30 years. To continue positively impacting the hearts of the cities we are part of, MES is challenged to improve the financial sustainability of our programs. The work that is done in the urban marginalized communities is only made possible through our partners who work alongside us in tackling the challenges of urban poverty and deprivation. Your involvement with MES will go a long way in improving the lives of people in need in our cities. You too can partner with MES by sharing expertise, time and resources, or contributing financially. By partnering with MES, corporates have a range of tax benefits on donations, employment equity scorecard credits, and youth employment scheme benefits available to them through various government initiatives. Help us to heal the broken hearts in our communities to again become beating hearts in the cities.
Thank you for your participation in this webinar, and we hope to see you in the next one.